Hey y'all, I realized that it might be beneficial to us to take a quick look on how to create a plasmid map using restriction enzymes. And so we're going to take a look at this example here. This is going to be the plasmid P-glow, and we're going to look at its digestion with three different enzymes, AGE1, KPN1, and PVU1. Now, each of those individual digests there for AGE1, KPN1, and PVU1 generate a product that is 5,371 base pairs in size. And this tells us that each of these restriction enzymes only cut this plasmid one time. It also tells us the size of this plasmid. And so, for example, if we were to cut with AGE1 here, that would generate a linear fragment of DNA of 5,371 base pairs. So now we need to start mapping the location of these restriction enzymes in relationship to one another. So let's take a look first at AGE1 and KPN1. When we map out these two, we know that they're going to generate two fragments. So a digest with both AGE1 and KPN1 would digest and produce fragments of 1,005 base pairs and 4,366 base pairs. This is pretty easy to figure out, but where we begin to have some challenges is figuring out where is PVU1 in relationship to these two restriction enzymes. And here's where we have to do a little bit of trial and error, test our hypotheses, and maybe a little bit of addition and subtraction. So let's take a look at this first scenario here, where we have PVU1 located over on the left-hand side of the plasmid. Its distance from AGE1 is 1,980 base pairs. And if this were the location of PVU1, what we would expect to see then would be that the distance between the PVU1 and the KPN1 sites would produce a fragment of 2,985 base pairs. However, that's not what we see. A digestion with KPN1 and PVU1 produced two products. Neither of them are 2,985 base pairs. In fact, the distance between the KPN1 and PVU1 sites seems to be less than the distance between the AGE1 and PVU1 sites. And so this tells us then that probably KPN1 lies somewhere in the middle between PVU1 and AGE1. So if we place PVU1 on the far right-hand side here at about the 3 o'clock location, if we're thinking of the plasmid like a clock, then what we would find is we'd generate fragments of 975 base pairs and 1,005 base pairs. If you add up 1,005 and 975, this adds up to the 1,980 base pair fragment that would be generated by a digest with AGE1 and PVU1. And this would also then generate a second fragment of 3,391 base pairs, which is, again, consistent with what we see. So if we were to digest with all three of these enzymes at one time, then we would expect to see three products here. A product of 1,005 base pairs, one of 975 base pairs, and the last of 3,391 base pairs.